All right, guys. So the mainstream media never ceases to amaze me in regards to how they clearly don't want a certain group of people in this country to take any responsibility for their actions whatsoever. Okay, it is always outside forces, right? Some evil, overarching systemic system that is the root cause of whatever type of bad behavior or whatever bad situation that somebody gets themselves into, right? And this certain group of people, right, happens to be anybody that is seen as a so-called minority or a part of some type of victimized group. Okay, you get a pass, right? You get a pass because it's never your fault, right? It's always the system. Okay, it's everybody else's fault, and you're simply just a victim of the system. You don't have to take accountability for your actions. You don't have your own agency, okay? And this woke article right here from Business Insider is basically going to essentially say that, hey, it's not Brittney Griner's fault for getting detained in Russia for allegedly smuggling drugs into the country, right? It's not her fault. It's actually the fault of the gender pay gap, right? It's because she's not getting paid enough in America. That's actually the real reason why she got locked up in Russia. Has nothing to do with the actions that she took on her own. It's the system, man, right? So I want to read this crazy article here just to kind of give you guys just an idea of just how the mainstream liberal media always wants to make excuses for certain groups of people, and it's just getting to the point of just being ridiculous, okay? Because it's really not helping out people like Brittney Griner, who put herself in this very, very, very bad situation based off her own actions and behavior. But before I get into that, I just want to let you guys know, if you like my channel and you want to support my commentary, you can do so using the links in the description below. You can support the PayPal, you can support the Patreon, you can support the merch. There are multiple ways to support the channel if you would like to do so. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into this. 7-time WNBA All-Star and 2-time Olympic gold medalist Brittney Griner was arrested at a Moscow airport in February for possession of vape cartridges filled with cannabis oil. The 6'9" Phoenix Mercury superstar now faces up to 10 years in a Russian prison for, quote, large-scale transportation of drugs, according to the New York Times. Griner has already been detained in the country for 3 weeks, according to a fellow WNBA player, and given escalating tensions between the United States and Putin's regime, could spend an extended period of time in Russian custody. Okay, so this is a bad situation for her, okay? As she was arrested during a time in which tensions between Russia and the United States are at an all-time high. Okay, so Russia's not going to go soft on her. And I got a gut feeling that this is something that she does all the time. This is not her first time bringing vape cartridges and cannabis oil into the country. And the Russian officials probably knew about this, okay? However, given what is going on in Ukraine, this gave them an opportunity to say, hey, you know what? We're going to enforce our laws here, right? We're going to enforce the rules, and we're going to detain this person and possibly throw them in jail. Again, wouldn't be surprised if this is used as a bargaining chip in regards to the sanctions or, you know, the situation going on with Ukraine and Russia and between United States and the EU. Wouldn't be surprised this is used, okay? The harrowing situation has shaken the American sports landscape to its core, but ironically, the circumstances that led to Griner's arrest could have been entirely avoided had the American market placed a higher value on her talent. The legendary hooper was only in Russia to supplement her income. So, here we go. It's America's fault, right? Not Brittney Griner's fault for trying to smuggle drugs into a country like Russia, okay, that is probably strict on that type of stuff. Not her fault. It's America's fault, okay? You see how this stuff works? And here's the thing, man. It's like, listen, when you're traveling abroad, everybody should know that when you go into certain countries, you just can't bring certain things into certain countries. Like, for example, you can't bring alcohol into Saudi Arabia. Okay? You can't bring drugs into some of these Muslim countries that are super religious, right? You should know and understand that. And you should understand that if you try to do that, that you're going to have to face the consequences. Okay? You can't blame those Muslim countries. You can't blame the United States. You got to blame yourself for trying to do that. But no. Insider is trying to give Brittney Griner a pass, right? They're trying to say, oh, no, it's the fault of America because she's not getting paid enough here. Okay, so let's read a little bit more. Like many other women's basketball players, Griner spends her WNBA offseason competing overseas. Since 2014, she's suited up for Russian powerhouse UMMC Ekaterinburg alongside a rotating group of fellow WNBA superstars, including Breanna Stewart, Jonquel Jones, Allie Quigley, Courtney Vandersloot, and Emma Measyman. All of these players command significantly higher salaries abroad than they can possibly earn in the States. This year, Griner is set to take home a league maximum $227,900 annual salary from the Mercury, but only in recent years has her payday climbed into the six-figure range. Okay, so $227,000 ain't nothing to sneeze at, especially considering how nobody watches their games, right? You earning, what, six figures? You're probably, what, in the top 5%, right? You're in the top 5%. Okay, I understand it's not millions like NBA players make, but you don't bring in the revenue that NBA players make. Therefore, they simply can't pay you what they don't have. Okay, and Business Insider should understand the business problem here, right? But apparently they don't. She reportedly earns $1 million per season with UMMC Ekaterinburg, per the Arizona Republic's Jeff Metcalf. Okay, so she's earning $1 million overseas. What is there to complain about? Doesn't mean that she has to play overseas. Nobody's forcing her to play overseas. She played overseas because she wanted to make more money, and she got paid handsomely for it. But she should have known, right, that a part of playing overseas and playing in another country is that you have to follow their rules, right? The rules are the rules. You can't be smuggling drugs into another country, right? Again, I find this article to be fascinating. Even under ordinary circumstances, this 2-season-per-year lifestyle is far from ideal. Without proper time to rest and rehabilitate their bodies, athletes like Griner often find themselves dealing with nagging injuries in addition to accelerated wear and tear that can cut their professional careers short. Well, hold on. If they're earning just $200,000 a year in the U.S., right, and then they go overseas and play for $1 million, aren't they earning 4 times what they would be earning in the U.S.? So basically, by playing that extra season, they're basically getting 4 years worth of salary in 1 year, right? 4 years worth of extra money. So with that being said, if they're earning all this money up front now, wouldn't that make up for the fact that they're shortening their careers? Okay, considering how you would have to play 4 years in the United States to make $1 million. I'm just saying. So if she plays 2 seasons in Russia, she makes $2 million. She would have to play 8 seasons in the United States to make the same amount of money. Okay? So, in my opinion, I think that's worth it. You play a few years, get $3, $4, $5 million, and then you retire. Move on. Right? That's what I would do if I was them. I wouldn't be sitting here complaining. That's what I would do. Or at the very least, you can stop playing overseas at that point and just say, hey, you know what? I'll just play for $200K in the United States. I'm sitting on $4, $5, $6 million. It is what it is, right? You're not going to be living super comfortable in retirement, but you'll be better off than most people in society. But again, there's always something to complain about here. But during moments of international crisis like the early days of the pandemic or right now, as Russia wages war in Ukraine, WNBA players taking on second jobs overseas becomes all the more perilous. Thanks to the rapidly deteriorating relationship between her home country and her offseason abroad, Griner may be a pawn in a fiery feud between two global superpowers. According to the New York Times, Griner's arrest could be linked to a Russian effort to create leverage for a potential prisoner exchange with the American government or a reduction in sanctions related to the Ukrainian invasion. In the past, the Times' Jonathan Abrams continues in that same article. Russia has been detaining and sentencing American citizens on what U.S. officials often say are trumped up charges. Whether her detainment is connected to the larger geopolitical feud or not, Griner almost certainly wouldn't be in this situation if not for this pay disparity. No. She wouldn't be in this situation if she actually followed the rules. If she wasn't trying to smuggle drugs into a country like Russia, right? And didn't the U.S. Embassy tell Americans to get out of Russia, right? I would think during a time like this, even for $1 million, I probably wouldn't want to be in Russia right now, okay? I would probably be like, nah. I'm going to stay here until y'all resolve this conflict, okay? I can make my $1 million later, okay? Had she made even a fraction of what her NBA counterparts do while playing domestically, Griner could have stayed in the United States for the offseason without fear that she wouldn't have enough money for retirement. Had the WNBA generated a fraction of what the NBA makes, she will be making more money, right? That actually is how that sentence should be worded. She could have rested her 6'9" frame ahead of this summer's WNBA season as her reloaded Mercury squad set its sights on a second straight WNBA Finals appearance, and she could have spent time back home with friends and loved ones. Most importantly, had she been offered an opportunity to make $1 million in America instead of Russia, Griner could have avoided jail time under a hostile foreign power. Yeah, so it's America's fault, right? It's America's fault, right? It's America's fault because Brittney Griner was forced to go play for $1 million in Russia, right? She was forced to take those drugs on a plane and try to enter a foreign country with those drugs, right? She was forced to do it. It's America's fault. It's the misogynist's fault for not paying her enough. It's the sexist fault for not paying her enough, okay? Even though nobody watches the games, including the feminists that claim they support the WNBA so much, right? I just found that article to be absolutely hilarious. Again, another example of how there's just a certain group of people in this country that are just absolved from any type of responsibility whatsoever, okay? No accountability, nothing's their fault, right? It's everybody else's fault. So, yeah, I think that Griner and her arrest, I think Russia definitely did it as a way to bargain with the U.S. and say, hey, we have a prisoner here. We got a WNBA player. I'm not necessarily sure how much regular folks in America really care about this, right? Considering how it's a WNBA player. But at the same time, she is an American, right? And I think that, her being locked up in a foreign prison, is an issue that we need to deal with. But with that being said, she should have got herself in that situation in the first place. And it's a damn shame that the liberal media is out here trying to pretend like it's anybody else's fault except her own fault for getting herself in that situation. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.